Hello and welcome to Wasted Plotential, where we discuss the wasted potential of our favourite plotlines. Do you ever think about the fact that NieR Automata has had collaborations with an actual dozen other games? Not counting other NieR titles, we've seen 2B, or at least her costume, appear in See No Alice, Soul Calibur 6, Final Fantasy XIV, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, Gravity Rush 2, Star Ocean Anamnesis, Valkyrie Anatomia The Origin, Servant of Thrones, Phantasy Star Online 2, Fall Guys, Shadowverse, and probably more that I'm not aware of. Now tell me, if you're familiar with any of the collaborations that feature 2B herself, how many of those settings feature humans? For the unfamiliar, 2B is an android fighting in a war against machine life forms, which are alien robots occupying the Earth in the year 11945. The android's goal is to wipe out the machines so that humanity can return from the moon. However, as we learn in the game's second half, humanity actually died out in the 3000s, so no android currently living has ever actually met a human. So then, why have we never seen 2B have any sort of reaction to meeting a real human in these crossovers? In Soul Calibur 6, she's the only guest to not have her own story and only has a unique quote against one other character. In FF14, she can team up with a raid party full of that setting's human equivalents, even if it's not technically 2B, it's based on her memories and personality. And as far as my research suggests, her actual appearances in other games either keep her mostly isolated from the other characters, or simply don't give her a story. Imagine how many directions such a thing could go. The obvious one is shock and amazement that she's met real humans. Another is mild rejection, assuming she's malfunctioning or that these are androids that think they're human. Since humanity is obviously safe on the moon, or knowing they've been wiped out depends on her specific time frame of origin. Another is a more violent rejection, assuming it to be a machine trick and fighting against the humans for a while before eventually coming to accept the reality of this strange situation. And of course, there's the subject of how androids are programmed to interact with humans. They're designed to fight for them, but are they also programmed to serve them? Would 2B have to do what a human says, or at least feel inclined to do so, even if she doesn't want to? Could that be abused, and if so, how would that affect her will to fight for humanity? And even though the FF14 event and possibly some of the others are considered canonical by Yoko Taro, you don't need to worry about this story's canon implications, because by 2B's nature as an android that fights, dies and gets replaced by another 2B with whatever memories were backed up before the last one's death, this 2B can simply be the one we end the first half of the game with and have this story occur before the second half, or an older model than the one we start Automata with and say her data can't be backed up before she dies here, probably giving her life to save a real human, reflecting on that incredible fact and lamenting that the other androids and even she herself in her next life will never know about it. And I think probably the most interesting setting 2B could be transplanted into is the world of Drakengard after the events of Ending E. After all, that timeline and world is where Carmen Angelus came from, causing white chlorination syndrome, leading to Project Gestalt, the original NieR, and the total extinction of humanity in 2B's world. It would add just that little bit more bite to the story if the real humans she meets are the humans whose survival indirectly caused the total extinction of the humanity of a totally innocent world. Her world. I mean, if you're going to make a dumb crossover canon, you may as well explore some interesting themes while you're at it instead of doing a crossover solely for the sake of fan service and making 2B's alternate colour scheme from Soul Calibur canonical. It's such a huge opportunity that should have been capitalised on by now. And you know what else Taro and Square should have capitalised? The first N in reincarnation, seeing how the first 4 letters are NieR backwards. Fools! Foolish fools! If you liked this video, why not subscribe and support me on Patreon like these fine people here? If not, then make sure to share it with your enemies so they can suffer along with you. Today I'm recommending both Rex Regale's video on the FF14 event, which was more helpful than the wikis were in researching this, and Brando SP's NieR Lore playlist, which covers the more obscure stuff like the events occurring between each title, the origins of Yorha, and the new content from the Replicant remaster.